Welcome back to the Delusionals Podcast, the home of deluded football takes. I'm back with my man James. How you doing?
Not too bad. How are you doing, mate?
Not bad at all. Good holiday last week.
Yeah, like I said, it was nice to be off. Obviously, 5 days with the family is always difficult in a lodge, like 6 of you and a little 4-year-old running around like an absolute fucking nutter. It's pretty tiring. So it wasn't exactly that relaxing. Well, it was nice, but it was quite tense.
Not one of them relaxing ones, it's one of them full-on ones.
Yeah, it was good though. It was good. And then we had like the bank holiday weekend just at home to chill. So I had like a barbecue and that. Weather was epic.
Yes, I did actually. You sent me some very nice photos of what was it you cooked? Was it some lamb? What was it you did?
Yeah, it was a lamb.
Very
It
nice.
was lamb on the barbecue on the Sunday. It was beautiful, mate. It was banging. Got some little bits of cherry smoking chips, like kind of thing on there.
Yeah, sounds like nice. A farm shop job, that does.
It was actually Jess's dad brought some around, so it's quite nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. Was there games on the bank holiday weekend?
Yes, there was games on the bank holiday weekend.
Segue into the results.
It was yeah. So we missed some of last week's games, obviously with us not being on. Thankfully as well, because Arsenal turned out a horrendous performance against Southampton. It's really tough, right? I mean, it's what we spoke about in the January transfer window, and it's already a really thin squad with not many players, and we kept having players go out the door, and we were kind of relying on those players making it to the end of the season. 2 hours before kickoff, Lacazette test positive for COVID. Good, right? We put Eddie Nketiah in. We've lost both of our fullbacks. Don't know where Tomiyasu is. He's been hurt for months and doesn't seem like he's going to be back before the end of the season.
But you can't put that blame on now though after yesterday's result.
No, you can't, and I will come to yesterday's result. But I mean, in terms of squad depth, it very clearly is an issue for us. I mean, yesterday we managed to beat Chelsea, but we had Rob Holding playing right back. Like that's not going to hold out for much more than one game.
He's holding,
and he's tough.
Sorry.
We're trying to go to the end of the season with sort of no fullbacks. We're having to really like ad hoc build our way into starting 11s now. Thomas Partey's done for the rest of the season, so like we had Rob Holding, El Neni, like who's turned in a decent performance, but it's like we knew that the issue was squad depth. We then made no signings in January, and that was always a risk coming towards the end of the season when guys are getting a bit bad and you are starting to see them knocks turn up and lose to Palace, lose to Southampton. When we're really trying to fight for top 4, and it's just made it.
It's bad, isn't it? Because it was all in your hands, and now
it was all in our hands, and it's way tighter.
You need to better Spurs now. Well, you need to better Spurs.
We need to beat Spurs now. We're even on points now, right?
The goal difference is better. So I mean, you've basically lost 3, and they've won those 3. So that's what happened.
So it's going to be a big matchup against us, but we've got really tough games now. Like we've got.
But you say that. You also had an opportunity as well because Spurs lost to Brighton.
Yeah, like, and this is the thing. It's like the squad depth has really hurt us in the games that we needed to win, and now our running is like our end of the season running wasn't too bad, but now it's starting to look really tough because like if we took the points from Southampton, if we took the points from Brighton, if we took the points from Palace, we're laughing. But now we play United, West Ham, Leeds, Spurs.
United's a guaranteed win, so don't worry.
United are in the bin right now, right? So we should beat them, but we still got to beat West Ham. We've then still got to beat Spurs. Newcastle are playing really well. Like none of those are going to be
Newcastle
with a weak
honestly. Squad. Newcastle are unbelievable right now. Like I mean,
there's legitimate shouts for Eddie Howe to be in for Premier League Manager of the Year.
I mean they've got I suppose
they had like 4 points when they started to come over.
They recruited amazingly well in January. They did really very, very astute signings. Yeah. They've won their last 3. I mean, the fact that they beat Leicester, I was quite surprised at.
And it's Bruno, one of the new signings, Bruno Guimaraes with 2 goals, right?
Yeah, and beating Palace last night as well was also quite surprising considering how well Palace have been doing.
Palace have been playing really well,
But yeah, so back onto the games from last weekend. So obviously, like we touched on, Brighton beating Spurs. Brighton are a weird one. They started the season like incredibly well, and then they've just been in free fall, dropping like a stone. that's like, I think it's 2 wins in their last 5, something like that.
Yeah.
They also lost their last game, though, obviously yesterday against Man City, kind of to be expected. But yeah, Brighton beating Spurs was a little bit of a surprise, especially after Spurs'
They've shown some form over the last few games.
Yeah. Well, they battered Newcastle, absolutely battered them. They obviously beat us, battered us as well. So then to lose against Brighton is a bit of a strange one.
Yeah, I mean they battered Spurs battered Newcastle, who also beat Brighton like 3 games before, and then turned out and lose 1-0 to Brighton.
It's a bit of a weird season. I've found this season quite hard to predict, especially with the top kind of like 6-7 teams in terms of their mixed form. Spurs fall off, you guys fall off. Man U are all over the place.
They're managerial and squad and a lot of issues going.
They're just in they're completely in the bin.
Yeah,
It'll be interesting to see what happens with them or how things go with them in the summer.
I mean it's Ten Hag's squad now, right? I wonder if.
Do you think they'll still attract players? Like, I mean,
they're going to lose
Man
a lot
U,
of
right?
players first. They're going to lose a lot of players first. I think they're an appealing brand to play for. They've got Cristiano Ronaldo there, who is going to draw players to want to play with him.
Yeah,
but I don't think they have the pulling power that they used to have, particularly if they don't get Champions League and if they're out of that again.
They're not getting Champions for me.
They're not getting Champions League for me either. That's not even really a question. But that's a big thing for players that want it, like that want to join clubs, is they look for that Champions League football, and it does make it harder. As Arsenal have seen the last couple of years, it makes that recruiting factor a lot harder.
So I mean, what was it on? What day was it? It was on Tuesday. They got absolutely pummeled by Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool are so good at the moment. For me,
Liverpool going into the title run, end of the season, it's in City's hands, but Liverpool are. Liverpool, I don't think Liverpool are going to lose. I think City have to win out if they're going to win. I don't think Liverpool are going to lose to the end of the season.
Yeah, they're unreal. Like
I'd bet on Liverpool every single week against whoever they're playing.
I'm quite tempted to put a little bet on for the quad because I think
it can go. You can get it.
It's possible, isn't it? I mean, I think that for me the biggest question mark is even though there's still Champions League, I still think the biggest question mark is the league. Them getting above Man City in the league. I think the FA Cup, I think they'll beat Chelsea. I think in the Champions League they've got, is it Villarreal? They've got in a semi?
Yes.
And it could be Liverpool Man City final in the Champions League as well. I mean, they're just literally, them 2 teams are just dominating everything.
Yeah. And it's also because the European teams aren't what they were. Like the European teams are seeing like the Real Madrids aren't as strong as they were, the Barcelonas aren't as strong as they were, even Bayern don't look as strong as they were. The power shift is changing in Italy. It's not Juventus anymore. Both the Milan teams are back at the top, but they're still not like at the top enough to start really threatening the European competitions yet. But it will come. It's just a power. I think we're seeing a power shift across Spanish football, across Italian football, which is giving these 2 teams who are at the top of the Premier League, the most competitive league in the world. It's giving them the platform to show how good they really are.
I think this season has to be. I think Liverpool need to. I think if Liverpool don't win this season, I don't think they'll win next season. Not if Man City again.
They don't get it done this year.
I think with Haaland, if Haaland does come into City, Jesus Christ, that's
at 75 million. That's such an unbelievable bargain as well. They've been battering teams for the last.
How is it? It's less than Jack Grealish. That's mental.
Oh, it's because he's got a transfer clause in his contract that comes into effect after a certain date, and that's why all of the talk for his transfer has been high up now, as opposed to last season where it had been 140, 160 million.
Right. Wow.
So that's why every team's been waiting and then chomping at the bit to get Haaland in.
Man City have got to get him right. I think he's already said. I think he's
interested in City. I think he's very interested in City. I think he wants to work with Pep. It's a really talented squad, and I mean, City have been battering people for the last 2-3 seasons
with no striker.
So give them a striker now.
Maybe it'll all just fall apart. Maybe they won't know what to do.
They'll buy Haaland for 75 mil and put him on the bench so no one else can. It's going to be Gabriel Jesus running up front still.
Oh man, it's a scary proposition. I think they'll just absolutely romp the league next season, personally. Anyway, right, slight tangent. Man U scraping past Norwich.
Scraping Norwich. They're so in the bin right now.
Yeah, scraping past Norwich. losing to Liverpool. Before that, they lost to Everton.
Which was a huge one for the relegation battle. Absolutely massive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I texted you after that game and said Everton may have just saved themselves.
I think Everton have saved themselves now.
I think they've saved themselves.
After was it a draw? Yeah, a draw yesterday with Leicester. That's just pulled them out. It's just got them where it's more than one win.
They want to get, and they're on 29.
Yeah. I think Burnley have gone in. Burnley are playing all the teams around them.
They've been playing not awfully. They're like 1-1, drawn 1, lost 1. They're getting points, but it might be too little, too late at this point.
Yeah. I think it is just too far. I'm looking forward to my my free lunch.
Getting your sandwich.
Yeah, that's definitely happening at some point. We'll have to do that live. We'll have to do that live on a pod.
I'll get your sandwich delivered.
Yeah, because they lost to Brentford 2-1. Brentford have kind of like turned their fortunes around a little because they were in proper free fall. I remember at one point I was banging the drum about them maybe going down.
I mean, they had lost like 5 on the bounce, and now they've won 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, they narrowly lost to you guys.
Yeah,
beat Norwich, lost to Newcastle, but they beat Burnley, beat West Ham, which was a surprising one. Beat Watford, beat Chelsea. That 4-1 has just kicked them.
That 4-1 was just ridiculous, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, but they went and did Chelsea, West Ham. Like, did them in back-to-back games. Like, they really have just suddenly turned the form on. They come up against Spurs now, which they could do us a huge favour if they beat them. But they are playing Spurs, then United. I mean, they could even take 3 off United as well. They could really be on for a strong run to finish the season out.
I've heard links of us being linked with Ericsson, actually.
Interesting. I mean, he looks like he's still really good.
Of course he is, right? He doesn't just have that happen to him and then suddenly he's shit.
Just lose all your talent.
He's just, he at any point he could just collapse on the pitch.
Yeah.
But that's it, really. Like, he's still got his talent. He hasn't really had that long out. He's not like
not at all. He's still fit. Still very clearly fit. And yeah,
exactly. So, and then on to the demise of Arsenal. So the 1-0 loss against Southampton.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Well, as I kind of briefly mentioned, it's the.
I didn't actually see the game. Really... I don't know how the game went. So, like, were Southampton good? Were you poor? Was it?
We were pretty poor. I mean, that was the third defeat kind of in 4 games, and it's really difficult because you think if you looked at the stats and you looked at the game overall, and you didn't know the score, you'd say Arsenal won. And then
was it 23 shots?
We had 23 shots. They had 9. They had 3 shots on target. We had 6. We had 76% possession. Like, if you looked at the stats and you looked at the game, you'd think we won. They just scraped the goal past us, and it just went clinical. And that's the biggest issue. And then it's really funny to hear Lacazette come out and say, I've been speaking to multiple clubs in Europe. I mean, he's a free agent in the season. We weren't really expected to resign. We've always said to him, we've always said we'll talk about your contract at the end of the season, but focus on the season first. He's always been fine. He's never really been outspoken about it at all. And then he got interviewed the other day and said things about he's been talking to loads of clubs in Europe and he's interested in. He misses the Champions League and he wants to play in the Champions League. But the funny thing is, if he was even slightly more clinical, we would be in the Champions League. Like, it's not like, and it's not all down to him at all. But like, it's just a really funny quote that I just found. Like, you want to play in the Champions League, but the fact that you're not clinical is the reason we're not in the Champions League. You've missed multiple chances that would have given us wins, that would have put us in those top 4 spots, like last season as well as this season. So, I mean, we're struggling with the depth, we're struggling with the injuries. We're really having to put together a makeshift back line, both fullbacks. We're having to put together. Nuno Tavares got absolutely torn apart. He's just clearly not there. And he's a really young fullback who's not had much game time. So we are having to put together makeshift fullbacks at left and right. We're playing backup centre mids that we thought would have been gone from the club 2-3 years ago. I didn't expect to see El Neni still sort of playing games, and it's just hurting us. And it's hurt us sort of in 3 of the last 4 games, and even until last night. I mean, when you looked at our lineup last night against Chelsea, I thought we were done for rights. I thought we were going to get bad because we had Holding at right back, and we had El Neni at centre mid, and we got Nketiah up front, and just guys who haven't been that productive for us, and somehow we managed to come out of a win. And I mean, I didn't actually see the game; I was at training, but from what I heard, we played pretty well. But I think Chelsea also played pretty shit.
Right. So yeah, Chelsea are a bit of a weird one as well. They're kind of, I think they're just holding out now for that cup final. A little bit.
This season's pretty much done. Are they confirmed third? Where are we now?
No. They've got a game in hand, but they're 5 points beyond Spurs at the moment. So if they win that game in hand, then they're 8 points.
Pretty much
so it's like they're pretty much there.
Yeah, but they've lost 2 in their last 3, and they're coming up against a hot in form. Who have they got? They got West Ham. Oh, they go West Ham, United, Everton. I mean, I don't see Everton's caused them a whole lot of problems, but if Everton are still fighting for survival, they've got actually something to play for.
I see them beating
United
Man
probably won't cause them problems, but West Ham is going to be a tough game, especially fierce rivals. They're going to be a big old derby, that one. So
definitely. And then Newcastle, Leicester. Like I said, this was a bit of a surprise one for me. I think I probably picked out a draw on this one.
Was it 95th minute winner? I think.
Yeah, Newcastle just 95th. Yeah,
95th.
Bruno
Guimaraes, the beast.
Yeah, he's proved to be an amazing bit of business. What was it, 30 million?
He's CDM. He's firing up with the goals as well.
It's bonkers. But yeah, Leicester have kind of drifted through this season, haven't they? They haven't really done a lot.
They just seem to be very mid-table right now. Very like 9th, 10th. They're going to win half, lose half, but they're going to be in no threat of relegation, but they're not threatening anything up the top.
Similar with like Wolves. Yeah. I just can't believe Newcastle are basically, they could finish 9th.
Honestly, their form's been a joke.
Absolutely ridiculous. And what else? So West Ham, Burnley, 1-1. So that was a massive point for Burnley. Huge point.
For Burnley.
Souček again, that lad.
Is it going to be too little, too late? What are they now? 5 points off 4 points off of Everton.
I
still can't confidently back Everton to beat anyone really. Like, this is the thing, is like it is 2 games worth of points, but like that could happen pretty quickly. Like Burnley.
The problem Everton have got is that they've got Liverpool next.
Yep.
They've then got Chelsea.
Yep.
They've got Leicester again, but away this time.
Yeah.
I think Everton's home form's been key for them. They've been incredibly good at home, but away they're really, really poor. So they'll probably lose against Liverpool. They might get a result against Chelsea because Chelsea, like we said, are in kind of holiday mode.
They're a little bit,
Leicester away at Leicester again. Leicester's season's kind of over.
It's a tough game. They're going to Leicester.
They've then got Watford away.
Yeah.
Which for them is huge. Watford could be gone by then. But they'll be looking to prove a point still.
Yeah.
I think Watford are gone, in my opinion. 7 points is too much.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I did
claw back.
I thought they might have shown a little bit more fight.
I mean, you know what? It's 6 points though, right? They win that game. They claw back 3.
Yeah.
So, it is possible. It all depends on where it is at that point.
Mathematically impossible, but I think if anyone is going to stay up out of the bottom 3, it's Burnley. I think they've been playing the best out of the 3 in the relegation as well. And I think their run is a bit better because Burnley play Watford as well.
Yeah, they play Watford. They play us twice.
They play you twice. They play Newcastle last day of the season. They play Wolves. They play Southampton. They play Spurs.
It's a game. I was well up for that Burnley Newcastle game being like this huge
relegation scrap. One stays up.
Yeah.
No, Newcastle are about in 4th place, chasing Champions League.
I'm really hoping because I love it when the last day of the season there's like relegations in the balance from champion, like the titles in the balance and Champions Leagues in the balance.
Everything's still to play for.
Yeah, I hate it when it's like, okay, City have won or whatever, the bottom 3 relegated, and it's just like, oh, who's going to get Champions League?
Well, I think it's worth mentioning. Speaking of tight races, I know we're focused, but the championship playoff race is insane,
mate.
There's about 16 teams still in it,
mate. It's absolutely bonkers. Like, I mean, I'm still, because I follow Forest with the in-laws all being like Forest fans. Forest have been on the most unbelievable form I've ever seen in AT. Like, I think that it's something stupid. Like, they lost against Luton the other day, which is a shame, because before that, I think they were unbeaten since like start of Jan.
Let's have a look. So they did West Brom. They went West Brom 4-0, lost to Luton. Then they did Birmingham 2-0, Coventry 2-0, Blackpool 4-1, QPR 3-1, Reading 4-0, Huddersfield 2-1.
Yeah,
draw, win, draw.
Yeah, it's just literally been on the most unbelievable run. Like when what's his name? Steve Cooper. When Steve Cooper took over, I think it was the end of September. They were rock bottom of the Championship. I think they'd won one game.
Well, now they're fifth.
Yeah,
they're in the same season.
Yeah, in the same season
on crack,
mate. If they'd not lost to Luton, they'd been third right now.
They'd be above them. They'd be above Luton,
and they've got Bournemouth to play.
Oh, and they've got 2 games in hand on everyone.
Yeah. So the point is they are, if they win those games in hand, they're third, right?
They're third,
yeah. But they've got Bournemouth to play as well, so they need Bournemouth to slip up. But if they'd beaten Luton, I was like, automatics. You're going for second.
Yeah, they're going
through the playoffs. Yeah. No one wants the playoffs. Playoffs are horrible. You want second, because Bournemouth have been slipping up left, right, and centre. 2 draws and a loss in the kind of like the last 5 games. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, you could get them, but then that loss against Luton. But they've been battering teams full on. Battering.
Oh yeah, those scores I tread through were like 4-0s, 4-1s, nothing.
What's the Championship drives me insane, right? I mean, you can't really appreciate because you haven't been in it, but like for us, it was like, I mean, right now, if I look at this, what is it? There's 8 points, 9 points from 11th to 4th.
Yeah, that's mad. And where does the playoff position go down to? Is it 6th?
6th. So it's the 6th to 3rd. So at the moment, you've still got from 11th who are all in that. Like they could all still get it. Like Borough win their game in hand, they're into the top 6. And yeah, Forest are the ones who are on the most form at the moment. And they just got to keep it going, because if they do end up in the playoffs, they need to keep that run going. But unfortunately, mighty Keenan Davis, Villa loanee, he's out for the season. He's got injured.
Oh, what did he do?
Which is a real shame, because he's been doing fantastic for them, absolutely brilliantly for them. But they've got this lad. Oh, what's his name? Sturridge. I always think of Sturridge, but it's Sturridge.
Yeah,
and he looks sharp. Like he's quick. He's a good finisher. He's a different player to Keenan. Like Keenan holds the ball up. He's kind of like Ollie Watkins, right? It's like a long. I always said he was like Emile Heskey. He doesn't score, but he just sets everything up for everyone else and creates space for everyone else. And that's very much what he's been doing. But yeah, the Championship will be fascinating. I'm making sure I'm free on May the 29th, just in case I'm going to play. Well, it's the playoff final.
Oh, it could be, and it could be Forest, of course.
So just in case, I am keeping that day free.
It's going to be the mighty Millwall, mate. The mighty Millwall are going to sneak in.
Fucking Millwall. Honestly, if there's one team that doesn't deserve to be in the Premier League, it's Millwall. They are they're worse than Burnley in terms of the way
they might be. If they somehow came up, they may be the worst Premier League team of all time. They might get.
I think it's worse than Derby that season.
They might get less points than that Derby team.
Oh, also on Derby.
In the bin again. Feels so bad for them.
They've got relegated, and they had a 21-point deduction at the start of the season.
They still didn't have 31 points.
Yeah, if they didn't have that, mate, they'd be mid-table.
Yeah, 16th, 17th. Yeah.
So poor Wayne is going down League One football. Well, I think they're going to get like a deduction again or something.
Oh, it's just because of the financials. It was a financial.
Yeah, it's to do with the financials.
I never understand this. I never understand punishing a team that the financials are bad and they're going to go under or whatever. And obviously I understand the mismanagement, but deducting them points just makes their financials so much worse and harder to recover. Like it doesn't seem the right way to deal with it. It just hurts them so much.
Well, it's meant to be on an independent adjudication basis, isn't it? Right. So I think points and stuff is the right thing to do to the higher clubs because that'll impact them the most. So like giving them a fine.
Clubs.
Yeah, giving them like a financial fine or whatever.
It's nothing to them.
Pointless.
No, points for the big clubs. Agree with that.
Whereas the lower clubs, it's 21. I mean, I don't know the ins and outs, but
21 points as a lower team is 7 wins.
Well, 21 points in the Premier League, it could keep you up, maybe. You could that plus like this season, that plus like 4 wins, and you're safe.
Where is the Prem table? If you took 21 points off of anyone from 80, if you took 21 points off of 8th, they would be in the relegation zone.
Yeah. No, they'd be close to. They'd be 17.
Close to. Where are we?
Yeah,
yes,
if you took it off Leicester. Yeah, if you took it off Leicester. That is mental, to be fair. That's such a massive... Or say, for instance, you did it the other way. If you took Norwich and gave them 21 points, they'd be 9th.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is basically half the table. So what they did, they fought really well. Unfortunately, in January, they essentially also had to sell half their players to keep the club afloat.
They've got no players. They've got absolutely no budget for anything, no scouting, no transfers, nothing. And
they can hardly pay the staff. They can hardly pay the staff. So
if they then get a deduction again and they go down again, you don't recover from that.
No.
Not for 10, 15, 20 years.
I think they've just got bought.
They have been bought now. Okay. I haven't.
Or it's at least going through. Through. So they will be like
Mike Ashley or someone, isn't it?
Yeah, imagine. They will at least hopefully be saved from like financial ruin. But you got to hope that it's someone that was going to buy them if they stayed up anyway,
and is willing to put investment in to help build them back.
Isn't just buying them now because they're now cheap because they're going to League One.
Yeah, that's the concern. Are they just buying them because they're cheap, or are they going to put anything into them? But
who knows?
Yeah, it's an interesting race.
Obviously, then we had on Tuesday the Liverpool Man U, always a big game. Man U had nothing, no fight in that game whatsoever.
The only person who had fight was the
Hannibal
at the end, the Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal
with that massive hair. It's like this as he ran.
You can always see where he is on the field.
Well, yeah,
and he nearly got himself sent. He nearly got himself sent.
Yeah, he did. He also had the Grealish socks. He had them down to his ankles.
Yeah.
But yeah,
he's been on their books a long time. It's quite good to see him starting to get some minutes because I think he's supposedly pretty good.
Is it Tunisian? I think.
Yes, he was born in. I can't remember what they said. They said he was born somewhere like Andorra or Algeria.
Yeah, that's
represents Tunisia, something like that.
Yeah. Imagine if you had an Andorra international playing for Man U. I mean, even a Tunisian international, to be fair. But he looked lively, but he was also at fault for their 4th goal. So it was but young lad.
Not that they were ever in that game anyway.
No. So, Man U, where do you think Man U will finish?
What's their running? They go Arsenal, Chelsea, Brentford.
I don't think it matters, mate.
Palace, Liverpool.
I think they finish outside of Europe.
Melbourne Victory on the 15th of July. Why are they playing an Australian team in the middle of the season?
I don't know.
It's a weird one. But I don't really think they're going to win I don't think they're going to get a whole lot more points. I honestly think West Ham are licking their lips at the chance to get this last Europa spot.
I think Man U will get the Europa Conference.
Yeah, which is what the 3rd European thing now. European.
You know what's weird though, right? There's because they've obviously added that competition. I now look because we used to look at the Europa League and think that's a bit of a joke tournament, like a joke thing.
It gives it a bit more standing now, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the Europa Conference is now this like thing where it's like it's not a real.
That's thing. The bin league now, right?
Whereas the Europa League's like, actually, the Europa League, you're in Europe, and then Champions League. So it's this weird thing how they've kind of added this level, and it's almost. It's
added value to the second. The third one feels like an absolute bin job now.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd still love to be in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the thing is it gives I don't think it's specifically geared for the Premier League. I think it's geared a lot more for getting European football across the other European leagues. And just raising awareness of them teams, getting all of the teams that are in that a bit more brand awareness, and starting to get some more money into all of those other leagues.
Definitely, exactly. Everton Leicester 1-1. Massive result for Everton. That I think it was a late one as well. Yeah, 92nd minute.
93.
Yeah, for Richarlison. Huge for them. Absolutely huge.
Mm-hmm.
Frank could, he's pulling a rabbit out of the hat somehow.
He's pulling a rabbit out somewhere, but there's a few games left. We'll see if the rabbit goes hiding again.
Yeah, I mean, next up they've got Liverpool away. So
yeah, I don't think Liverpool lose a game at the end of the season, to be honest.
No. And then on to yesterday's games. So let's start with Man City Brighton. Man City Brighton, pretty easy result there.
Expected battering, I think.
Yeah, I think who's Mahrez? You know what? Mahrez goes massively under the radar. Like,
oh yeah, it's because there's too many stars in that team.
Isn't he City's top scorer? I know he takes the pens or whatever.
I'll have a look.
But I am positive Mahrez is Man City's
He's been really good for them. He's been really good for them. They just have so much rotation, don't they? They just have so much rotation that they can kind of put. Let's have a look.
Foden's just quality. Foden's so good at the moment.
Yeah, so it's De Bruyne and Mahrez. They're both tied on 11.
That's ridiculous. Everyone always talks about De Bruyne and all this stuff, but Mahrez never gets a mention. Just goes under the radar. He's consistently in the team as well. It's not like he's rotated out bits, but he's generally on the team sheet. Newcastle beating Palace. Huge again for Newcastle. I mean, they're safe,
right? It's not even.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're now, it's interesting though. It's like at what point is their season over kind of thing? Like, as in they're safe now, but is it just finish as high as you can? They've got 15 points.
Get as much prize money as you can, and then
15 points to play. 15 points to play for could end up on like 55. That's unreal.
Yeah, I think you go for as many wins as you can at this point, and then bring in. I would assume they're probably going to make 6-7 starting 11 signings in the new year or in the summer.
I mean, I can't think who they're going to bring. They're going to bring in so many players,
and I think they're going to bring in some good players. I think the fact of how quickly they turned it around, it's really going to make some players look at that and go, "I kind of want to be a part of that." Because one, I'm going to get.
Well, what'll be interesting is that I don't feel like Eddie Howe's just going to buy in names. He's not just going to buy in your kind of like has been big names.
I don't think they're going to be able to attract some of the big names. I still think they've got to go for the like your Bruno Guimaraes and stuff, like these talented internationals who aren't at the top clubs earning the top wages.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of rumours at the moment that apparently the Coutinho deal is a little bit on edge. I think
is it a wage issue?
I think part of it is we want to see how the season pans out with him. I think they want to make sure he's worth it, essentially. I think, 34 million plus his wages. The thing with the wages is, it's going to blow the structure completely out of the water. And apparently, the latest I've heard is that we're looking to try and get Barcelona to sell him for cheaper to kind of help cover his wages.
Compensate the wage stuff, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, otherwise, I think it's your lot and Newcastle who are in the wings just waiting for that. Yeah. Because we have first refusal because of the deal. Because of the loan place. So it'll be interesting to see whether Newcastle went for him, if we didn't go for him, if you guys went for him or not. Obviously, you'd be able to offer European football. So it'll be slightly different because he's in his latter years, right? He doesn't want to be
29.
He's not joining a team to be part of a project. He's joining a team.
He'll be 30 going into next season. So I think he wants to win.
Yeah. So even then, it's like 34 million and at least 150, 200k a week.
Yeah, I mean, 200 that's like half of what he's on now. I can't imagine he'd want to go for much less than half of what he's earning.
Yeah, and 200,000's, I think it's double what anyone in our team.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
It's a hell of a lot. Yeah. So, and then obviously there was. Oh no, hang on. That's all the games, isn't it? Yeah.
Everton, Leicester.
Where's that? No, we talked about that. We talked about Everton, Leicester.
We did mention it today, yeah, and we spoke about Arsenal, Chelsea as well.
And Arsenal, Chelsea. Yeah. So, going to call it now. Are you going to get Champions League?
Oh, it's tough.
I need an answer.
I obviously want to say yes. It's such you need an answer. This is such a hard. Like I couldn't call relegation at any point this season. I haven't been able to call the top four at any point this season, and now you need a definitive answer. I can't give you anything.
I think it all depends on how Tottenham bounce back from this loss. So, like they're on such scintillating form that I was like, it's Spurs is to lose. Like Spurs have got this now. Whereas they've just had this loss. As long as they don't,
We're now equal on points, same games played. Just made it a bit tighter.
So as long as they don't like kind of let this become a rut, and for your guys, I mean, what you were saying though, it sounds like you've got such squad issues that it could easily be you would lose the next one. Like
we could just lose it. Like this is the thing is like, and as it was shown over our last sort of 5 games, is like we'll come out and we'll beat Chelsea with an absolute fucking team of just whatever we can find out the back, and then we'll come out and we'll lose 1-0 to fucking Southampton, and it's just an abysmal performance from everyone on the field. And it's almost doesn't even look like it's a squad issue. It's just the team just plays really badly. Like we're a bit up and down right now. So sort of Spurs losing massively helps us out, gives us a bit more confidence that we can still take. I'll put it this way: I think our worst finishing position is 5.
Yeah.
I think we're very much between 5th and 4th. Yeah, we're guaranteed Europe. I think we're right between 4th and 5th.
So the Ten Hag appointment that's just been announced today, I believe.
Yes, about 3-4 hours ago now. 3 years.
Is it 20-year?
3 year.
I thought you said 20-year deal.
20
what the hell is this?
3 year.
So how long is he like straight in now?
I believe end of the season. I think they're going to see out.
Boo.
Yeah, what's his name? He's also got to finish an Ajax season.
I totally wanted him to come in and be taken over against your lot, because that would have been hilarious. You would have been like, "Oh, classic new manager
can bounce."
But you've got to beat Man U on the weekends. Like they're just so
how they're playing right now. Yeah,
they're so poor. I think that was everything other than FIFA Plus streaming service. This has just come out of the woodwork. I don't know if there were any rumors of this. I don't know if anything was going around, but it's just come out of nowhere.
But from what I heard, it's FIFA's attempt to basically fight back at all of the various streaming softwares for football, like having to buy BT Sport, having to buy Amazon, having to buy Sky, having to buy fucking every type of streaming service just to see football. So from what I understand is it's basically them saying, well, fuck all of these, they're having to make everyone pay for all these different streaming services. They're releasing a free streaming platform that... Now, where I don't really know what's going to be on there is I don't really know the content and stuff that's going to be on there. Because as far as I'm concerned, if it's FIFA, surely they have the rights to any football game that is in a FIFA country, right? So could they stream content?
So there's a bunch of like documentaries and stuff on there about like players and like, I don't know, there's something here, HD cuts. Someone's giving a haircut or something to players, I think. And then there's like smaller leagues. So they are like doing like streaming of games. So
some of their own content games,
yeah, they did have like the Mongolia, second league and stuff. Like, I mean, right now I can literally jump on and watch
old matches and stuff. Old World Cup matches.
I can jump on right now and watch the Mongolian First League. It's currently 1-1. There's also the Campeonato, whatever that is.
My betting is about to get out of control now. I can stream the Mongolian third division. We betting on under 17s in Mongolia at 4 a.m. FIFA Plus.
Yeah, there's all these games that you can. I mean, literally, right? If I just pop this Mongolian league on, just gonna see what's going on. I mean, there's no one there. It's an empty stadium. Literally an empty. It's like, and the camera's like, if I went there, right, with my camcorder and zooming in, zooming out, it's literally just like horrendous. Oh, it's 1-0. I thought
this is actually really cool for just growing football around various different countries.
It's amazing.
Kawasaki Frontal versus Joe.
If you're just a massive football fan, right? If you're just a massive football fan, you just like watching football. You just like watching football, and you've got like all this original. You got these they've got old matches on there and all this stuff. I don't think there'll ever become a time where there'll be streaming like the Premier League and stuff like that.
As you say that, I've just found a Premier League game on there. They're showing Burnley Southampton tonight, Turf Moor.
What? No,
go to fixtures, go to the match centre, and then go to fixtures, and just keep scrolling down. And the Prem's on there, 21st of April, Southampton, Burnley Southampton.
No, that's not going to be a live
stream.
Might
just be a blog. I would guess it's just a blog.
I think it is because to look at the live games, if you go into the menu and go to live, you then scroll down. It's got like today, and there's
the match centre may just be a list of all matches in all leagues.
Yeah, Match Centre will be like live stats and all this kind of thing during it because there's no way they're showing that. That'd be insane. Because
that was my big question over it. Was I didn't know what content and stuff would be on there, but I'm definitely going to have to play about with FIFA Plus because it looks like there's some really interesting content on there, and even up some old World Cup games and stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. But yeah, it's interesting. It's free. Interesting. It's free.
Yeah, that was what I thought. I thought it was free.
Is it advertising or anything? Or
I haven't played about with it, so I don't know. So I'd have to have a workout. I haven't seen any ads plastered over the thing. It's just of him sort of browsing through it and stuff. But I would guess that there's adverts when you click to play something. There might be like a pre-roll ad or something.
But it's fascinating. It's fascinating to see how it's going to develop. And I still think that unless the amount of money that Sky and that are putting in, that are then going. It's interesting because the amount of money Sky's paying for it, there's no real kind of like desire from the clubs to do it themselves or anything. There's no desire for the clubs to kind of go, well, we'll have our own streaming service, because they're not paying anything. They're gaining from Sky and that paying for
the TV rights. Yeah, they earn loads of money from it.
Exactly. So it's interesting that the way this is kind of like come about. But I suppose the point is that it's all those teams. It'd be interesting to see if like the Championship was on here. Because that's something that's so hard to get. You can't even get it around the world. Like you're always looking for a stream for a Championship game. It's so hard to find. So it'd be interesting to see if the Championship games come on here because the Championship teams do actually do their own. They have this thing called iFollow with the EFL. Yeah, you basically pay like a subscription per season for your team, and you get to watch all the games. I mean, it's terrible coverage.
Yes.
It's basically like radio. It's radio commentary, which is quite freaking hilarious. It's also like delayed, so like the ball will go in, and then it's like, it's like it's totally random. But yeah, FIFA Plus will be interesting to see how that goes. It'll be interesting to see. When I first saw it, I thought it was like something to do with the game, like FIFA Plus, like some kind of subscription thing. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if it integrates in somewhere. I don't know whether they'll do something, but
it's a really interesting product. We'll see where they go with it. There was one thing I wanted to touch on that we haven't actually spoke about at all just before we get off here, and it's the World Cup draw.
Oh God, yeah. Oh God, jeez, it's been that long since we've done this.
I know, yeah, it has been a little while. What did you make of the group? England, Iran, USA, and the winner of the Euro playoff, which I think is I can't remember who that is actually.
It's either it could be Scotland or Wales.
Scotland, Wales.
I think it's the best group we could have had.
Yeah, it was a very, very kind draw to us, and we were one pot away from Portugal, and I was talking to my friend who's Portuguese and was watching the draw at the same time, and us kind of being like in the way they did the draw, being kind of like one outside of them. We ended up getting Iran, USA, and the other winner of that playoff. We could have easily drawn Ghana, Uruguay. Like there were some big teams,
which is really hard.
There were some big teams around us that, like, because we drew Iran, it meant we couldn't get XYZ because of you can only have one per FIFA confederation in each group.
The draw for the World Cup is so strange. It's like it's all these weird pots and stuff. But I think Group H is the group of death, as they term it. I think
it's a tough group.
The Group A is a bit of a kind of just random group. Qatar,
Equador, tough group. Spain and Germany in there. A with Qatar at the head of it. I mean, A is a bit of a joke group because Qatar were the one, like they came out of the number 1 seed, which was like England, Argentina, France, Spain, Brazil, Portugal, Belgium. Like it was all the big ones, but because it's in Qatar, they go immediately in as that pot. So they drew kind of Ecuador.
Group C is a bit of a Group C is a bit of a mixed bag as well. A tough one.
I don't know who comes out
Poland.
there. Poland, Mexico is going to be a good game.
Well, I love how everyone just presumes Argentina will beat Mexico and Poland, though.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Just
It's
because of Messi and the usual kind of like.
They've improved defensively. They got to the final of the South America, the Copa Libertadores or whatever it's called, and they played. I think they beat Brazil. I do think they beat Brazil in that.
Yeah. Because I remember Martinez winning it.
They have got better as a team, but they're probably one of the biggest question marks over them out of all the South American teams.
So, do you think? I think someone's done a thing where they've actually looked at like the route to the end kind of thing, and they've looked at it. Do you think? What do you think is realistic? Well, what do you think is expectation?
I think it's a semi.
I think it's a weird one as well because it's in the middle of a season. It's going to be November, December. Now, I actually reckon that could lead to a better tournament because all the players will be match sharp. They won't have had a whole season where they're grueling. The downside is that they could. The downside for clubs is that if you get injuries and stuff, then the clubs are going to be livid. Also, I feel sorry for any team that wins because they're not really going to be able to celebrate it in their own country. They're going to basically come back and start the league again.
Go straight back to the league. That's the thing. I haven't actually seen the schedule for next year's Premier League. I don't know how the split works. I haven't.
There's like a 4. It's
a 4-week split.
It's like I think it's December 16th. They come back. Break World Cup. I think it's like they come back on so they stop on the November 12th, 13th weekend. Oh no, so it comes back on the 26th. They come back, the season resumes on Boxing Day, 8 days after the World Cup final. So actually they will get to go, well, this is the Premier League anyway. They will get to celebrate it or whatever and then come back and then they'll have Christmas and then they'll come back on Boxing Day.
It's also good that it's ending this side of the transfer window because then it gives teams a chance to assess if they did get any injuries through January. But it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird. I think the players are going to be fresher, but we're asking them to play a lot of they are playing a lot of football. It's not just they're going to finish a Premier League season.
Well, that's what I mean.
League next year is going to be down to whoever has the deepest squad, which is Man City. Because
how many? Yeah, because I mean the winter period's always congested anyway. The amount of games
you make up all of those games, right? You got to make up all of those games, which is normally 2 a week minimum.
Yeah, on top of actually playing during that time.
So the season, but playing tournament football. So you're playing a game every 2-3 days. You're not taking a week off between games. You're playing a game every 2 days. You're going to come back. If they then try and move those congested games into January, then suddenly you're going from playing 2 games a week to playing 2 games a week for 2 months. Mm-hmm. Or the season gets extended by 2 months because you've got to fit 8 games in.
Yeah.
In which case the season doesn't end up finishing until midsummer and then the off season's really short and then they're back again. And either way, they're not getting much time off to rest. And
I'm not gonna lie, the whole thing's a bit of a farce. They already said that the whole the way it was decided for Qatar to get it was a joke anyway.
It's literally a fact that it's only in Qatar because of massive corruption. It's really funny how I always find it really funny how after all of the World Cup stuff went down and all of the corruption with Sepp Blatter and all of that stuff came out, they were all of these decisions were severely corrupt and were just because
let's just carry on
money. But let's just leave them all assigned as they are. We're not going to reassess it. I was like, what? And that's why we had a Euros in Russia, a World Cup in or World Cup in whatever it was.
Or is it? I think isn't it? Is it the next World Cup? So 2026. Is it? Are we going for that? No, we're going for the Euros 28. Is that right? I think we're going to struggle after the carnage of the Euros. Wembley getting stormed by people without tickets and World Cup 2026.
I think we really shot ourselves in the foot with how those were handled. Not from the people actually running the event perspective, but from just the fans going.
It's Canada,
crazy. Oh, it's
Canada, Mexico,
it's all over America, right? It's all over
Canada,
America.
Mexico, and the United States. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're doing it all over North America, which would be cool. I don't know how the time zone's going to work. Games on the West Coast will be 8 hours behind us.
Yeah.
So we're going to be watching games at 11 p.m.
Yeah, so I think it's basically... so here we go. So we've got... so 2030 is the one that's up for bidding at the moment. Morocco are coming up as a potential bidder in Africa. There might also be Egypt, Algeria, or Cameroon. And then Europe, there's a joint bid between Spain and Portugal, possibly.
Cool.
And possibly a second potential coalition bid involving Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, and Serbia. And those are Europe's only options after the UK and Republic of Ireland have withdrew its bid. Oh, I didn't know about that.
I think we lost a lot of chances with the Euros here.
Yeah, the Euros.
Yeah, shambles of crowd control and stuff. But
yeah.
I'll leave you with one thought before we sign off: is why the fuck was the draw master of the World Cup Jermaine Genius? Out of all of the names in world football, the draw master was Jermaine fucking Genius.
Was it? What was it? What was the draw recently? Was it the Champions League or was it the World Cup draw where they drew it and there was an error and that's to redo the whole thing?
Yeah, it was the Champions League, I think.
That's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, Jermaine Genius, world football. Jermaine Genius.
You know, that Brittany famous masterful playmaking midfielder Jermaine Genius.
I actually forgot that we had him on loan. We had him on loan and we had him for like, I don't know, 6 weeks and he just kept on getting injured. So we just sent him back. That's absolutely ridiculous.
I also don't understand why he was accompanied by Idris Elba.
What's going on?
So pick a random name. They were at the World Cup draw.
And wasn't it in where was it? Wasn't it in like
it was in Qatar.
It was in Qatar. Yeah, so all these people flew all the way out to Qatar.
They flew Carfu out there and still made Jermaine Genius the draw master. And credit to him, he was very good. He didn't stutter. He didn't give any like he was really good presenting it. But it's Jermaine Genius.
That world renowned. Everyone's going to be sitting there going, "Oh, it's some presenter from England." Like, we don't know
what he knows. He's a footballer.
Yeah. Doesn't he do Match of the Day? No. That's Gary Lineker, an actual famous legend.
He's that guy from the radio.
Yeah, isn't he on the One Show or something like that? You know. So right. Anyway, on that note, we'll call it a day. Thanks everyone as always for listening. So we try and do these weekly. I think it'll probably be next week as well. We're going to try and bring them out on like Fridays, maybe I think now before the end of the week, before the start of the weekend. And thanks for listening. If you loved it, give it a sub. If you liked it, give it a like. And on anything else, we'll catch you next time.
Nice one. Catch you next time.
Bye.